Good afternoon, guys. Just getting off the practice field. Really encouraged by how the guys are practicing and working, and continue to connect with one another. Older guys are stepping up. A lot of communication going on, a lot of positive energy, and a lot of great things are happening on the practice field. So we know we got a big one coming up this week, a very quality opponent in Kent State, and I have a lot of respect for everything that they're doing and everything that goes along with traveling on the road and what we have to do to prepare ourselves mentally and physically in a big contest for us in the MAC East race.
Coach, you talked a lot about not riding the roller coaster of emotion, and I know last week's game didn't go the way you wanted to, and,
Yep.
and of course you had the week before game. Bless you. How have you seen your players embrace that, especially, bless you.
Bless you. It's okay. You're allowed 1.5.
How have you seen the players embrace the roller, or rather embrace not riding the roller coaster of emotion, especially considering you've had a couple of heartbreakers here recently?
Yeah, I think just in the daily interactions that we're having, I mean, there's a ton of older veteran players that are leading us, doing an outstanding job of leading us very strong and well. Jack Klink and Jake Fuzak and Kevin Marks and Dom Johnson, James Patterson, a lot of guys that have played a lot of football that have just been battle tested, and they're doing a great job in the locker room. I think that's really where it begins, is in the locker room, the energy and the communication in the locker room, and that's carrying over to what we're doing in the meeting rooms, and then ultimately what's happening on the practice field, and then outside of these four walls, the things that we're involved with in the community and community service and in classroom and attendance and all those things. So I'm just excited about the way we're going about our business, regardless of a couple hard-fought losses that we've had 2 of the last 3 weeks, and the way that we're continuing to commit ourselves to the process of how we do things, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago after a close win against ODU, and you really get back to your way of doing things and how we do things, and we message to the team after this game was the same thing in terms of just being able to have the consistency to practice and prepare the way you need to practice and prepare. Really, regardless of whatever that result is, win or loss, is what's going to carry us throughout what we believe is going to be a championship season.
It can be easy to overreact too, especially after the way that game went on Saturday. Does that go back to continuing to preach not riding the roller coaster? I mean, because how have you seen them respond this week?
Yeah, just what what the one thing I say is I feel like we've been improving. I think our practices are I think about our practice prep week from ODU to last week to where we are on this Tuesday practice. This was the best Tuesday practice that we've had up to this point being together. We haven't had a ton of them together, but this is the best one that we've had. And we talk about changing our best and improving. And you're seeing guys step up and make plays, continue to grow, and it's very encouraging. So. Our practices are well. They're energetic. They're up tempo. They're upbeat. There's no lag. There's no drag in these guys. There's no long faces. We know the task at hand. Everything that we want to accomplish is very much still in reach. And what we have to do is just continue to take care of our process and our business every single day.
Your team's offensive execution, particularly in the second half, have you taken a step back and are doing film and watching? What has to improve at this point? Because you'll have drives that are 75 yards and then 4 drives in a row that average 3.
Yeah, I think when you look at the totality of us throughout every game that we've been in, there hasn't been an opponent that we've played that we haven't moved the ball on. We've effectively moved the ball on every single opponent that we've had this season, even going all the way back to Nebraska. The 2 areas that we have to improve on, number one, is finishing drives in the red zone and coming away with points. I think that's a critical area for us. It happens against Nebraska. We had a few missed field goals. You look at Old Dominion, it occurred there. You look at last week against Western Michigan. We take the sack and they create a forced fumble. That's a scoring opportunity. We're on the 20 20 or 21-yard line. I think red zone opportunities is going to be a big difference for us in terms of the overall total points in the game, so finishing in the red zone. We've done a really good job all year long of protecting the ball. It's an area that we preach all the time. We talk about the ball daily in our program, and our offense has done a really good job in totality in terms of protecting the ball, but finishing drives. And then really there's been 2 games in the second half where we've had some stalls of just being able to get back to moving the ball in the first half, in the second half, the way we were able to in the first half. And, teams adjust and make adjustments, and we have to, just part of the chess match of when they're looking to come out of halftime and eliminate some of the things that we were successful with, what's the next answer? We have a veteran coaching staff. We have outstanding coaches in that room, a lot of players that have played at a high level that are very experienced, and we have a lot of confidence in our ability to effectively move the ball, finish in the red zone, protect the ball, and really eliminate some of these stalls that we've been having, and that's what we've been preaching all week in practice.
We have those stalls with 3 and outs.
Yep.
Back to back. How does that affect the defense?
Sure.
And the rest of the team?
Well, we talk a lot about playing complementary football and how one side of the ball affects the other, and ultimately the special teams affects everything. So, just by nature, the more an offense can snap the ball against you, just by nature of plays, the more plays, the more opportunities they have, and it's at any level of football. They have opportunities for things to happen in their favor. So 3 and outs on defense are big for us, and not having the 3 and outs on offense is something that we have to address, something we can't have happen, and something we have to improve on throughout the rest of the season.
Coach, you mentioned playing complementary football. The time possession battle was kind of a big stat last week's game. Did you notice the defense kind of, fatigue a little bit at the end of the game? Or just, kind of the offense struggling a little bit with the defense out there a little too long?
Yeah, fatigue is such a hot topic buzzword a little bit. I wouldn't say we fatigued because we've played in a ton of games where, even like go back to Coastal, nationally ranked team at home that had a high up-tempo offense. We could have continued to play that game. The clock went down to 0. I just think it's the nature of, how many times opposing team is snapping the ball against you. And if they can get a higher amount of snaps against you, there's just a more likelihood that they can, move the ball and get more points than you. So, how do you create a favorite time possession? Well, number one, on defense, it's forcing 3 and outs and winning the third down battle. On offense, it's moving the ball effectively. At times you can have a lower time of possession because you're scoring faster than somebody else. So sometimes it doesn't tell the full picture. But we don't want it slanted in a way a little bit more of how it was in the Western Michigan game, by nature of us having a few more drives that went 3 and out that we don't want to occur, and we had some third down opportunities to get stops. Ultimately, we got the stops against Western Michigan, but they were able to effectively move the ball a little bit in some instances where drives went longer than we wanted to. There's a hidden yardage battle that's always going on in the game of field positioning, of special teams is flipping the field always. How do you create that average drive start that you want that's higher than your opponent? And it's almost like making a pizza. There's a lot of ingredients that go into winning that average starting field position with offense, defense, and special teams. So we preach daily about just winning the game inside the game and winning those small battles to come out on top of that category in terms of average starting field position.
Mo, your defensive tackles made some flashy plays in the game on Saturday. How has that position come together, particularly with some mostly new players?
Yeah, when we got here as a new coaching staff, and when I received and took the job, there was really you had George Wallow, who was really the mainstay that was really coming back, returning, that played significant snaps, and the rest of the guys really through recruiting. You look at Josh Rogers, who I was with at Texas A&M, who came over as a graduate transfer and who's playing at a very high level, making plays. He's winning at the line of scrimmage. He's a big body, aggressive guy from Houston, Texas that does an outstanding job. You look at Damon Williams. Damon was a huge recruiting win for us to go down in the state of Texas and beat multiple Group of 5 offers from the state of Texas. Damon Williams, 95, is from Texas. He turned down multiple Group of 5 offers down there. Took a visit out with us this past June. We took him out to Niagara Falls. We got him around campus. He saw that we were an AAU institution, high academics. He saw the culture and the family. Over and over again, his mom and dad on the visit kept talking about, I can't believe how short a time this coaching staff has been together. It seems like you guys have been together a lot longer. They felt the family atmosphere and the culture. And Damon Williams decided to leave the state of Texas. Every offer that he had was from the state of Texas, and he chose Buffalo because of our connection, our family, and our culture. And he saw a vision for himself here. He's a guy that's doing an outstanding job for us and making a ton of plays. You look at Deshaun Folsom from Hutchinson Community College. It's a prior relationship that we had through recruiting. He's come in number 20 and done an outstanding job for us. And then as well as the veteran guys on the edges, Taylor Riggins on the edge, playing at an extremely high level, coming off of an injury last year and playing extremely well for us. And you look at that mix of old and new, and we've been able to put together a very, very high-end quality defensive line that wins at the line of scrimmage, that attacks the opposing team's quarterbacks, that knows how to stop the run. And if you've watched our games at all, you see these guys peel out of the stacks at all times, and they're always chasing the ball. And that culture and energy really bleeds to the rest of the defense. How hard, your guys play up front. When you see a big guy chasing the ball, a linebacker and DB, you really can't help but to see, man, listen, these big guys are chasing. I need to join the party and chase it too. So it starts up front on both sides of the ball, and the defensive line has done an outstanding job with Coach Cawthon, our defensive coordinator, and Coach Cedric Douglas, our defensive line coach, just putting it all together in really a very short amount of time.
As you get ready for Kent, I'm sure you watched last year's game, and obviously everybody remembers what happened in that game. But how much have you noticed how much better their defense is, maybe compared to what your team kind of ran into last year?
Well, sure. You look at their defense right now, and they're probably in a very similar state of as we are in terms of they've played some really quality opponents. You look at the losses that they've had. Their group of, their Power 5 losses, and they've battled and played well. They went on the road to Texas A&M and played A&M strong, and I think they're giving up right around 27 or 26 points per game, and they really had a big battle against Bowling Green that they won 27-20, and really their defense improved and made a lot of plays. So we know there's a big task at hand, and we're playing a quality defense on the road that's been able to show that they've been shown to stop people. We're putting a great plan together. We feel like to put ourselves in a great position, but we know it's going to be a strong task going on the road to Kent State, and everything that they're doing. They have a lot of momentum coming off of a win, and it's a program I feel like that's doing a really good job.